I want to blow my life up. I want to change so many aspects of everything that I'm doing right now. Some people go to Coachella and they have a fun time, they see some cool shows, they take cute pictures, they party with their friends. I go to Coachella and I have revelations. I have spiritual experiences, or the closest that I'll ever get to a spiritual experience. And it happens to me every time I go to a concert. But then I go home, I get back to my routine, I get back in the work grind, and I'm just working so hard at my corporate job. I'm working so hard at State of Kate, and I just lose touch of where my heart wants to go with my life, and it happens every single time. But this time, it's just too important to ignore. I'll back it up a little bit. I went to NYU and I studied musical theater, and that was gonna be my life plan. At one point, it actually got down between me and one other person for 3 roles for Spring Awakening on Broadway. I think that was like 2007. So I did have somewhat of a promising career ahead. It wasn't like I was just, auditioning for Broadway and thinking it was a pipe dream. Like, it was somewhat realistic. For a variety of reasons, I just honestly fell out of love with musical theater. I had really mean instructors at NYU. It was the Cap 21 program. I was in the last year before they got rid of it. I remember the lead of Cap 21 told me, maybe you should take up babysitting instead. And like, when you're 18 years old, that kind of stuff sticks with you. And I remember just my confidence being like beat down by all these people. When you're an introvert and you're in a program where you're surrounded day after day by people who are the loudest in the room and constantly competing to be the funniest, the better belter, the better riffer, the better dancer, when I'm in that kind of environment, I just shut down. So that, combined with my family's financial struggles and my eventual rejection from Spring Awakening after 13 callbacks, it just started kind of like beating me down. And so eventually I just decided that that career was not right for me, and I was like too sensitive for it. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think I was good enough, and I really wanted financial stability. So I pivoted, and after several years of just working random jobs in New York, I went to LA and I got my start at a tech startup. And then I got involved in corporate sales, which led me to my career in business development at an entertainment marketing firm. And now here I am, and I'm 33, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? I feel like I'm 26 and I still have my whole life ahead of me. And in some ways I do. I know that some people who are older than I am are gonna be like, you're not old. And I totally understand how annoying that is when people say that. But I'm not a young, fresh out of college spring chicken. And my whole life, I've known that I wanted to do something with music for my career. It's all I've ever wanted to do, frankly. It's the only thing I have ever 100% felt super passionate about. But I just didn't believe in myself, and I didn't think I was good enough to even try. And that's where Coachella comes in. I had a huge revelation at Coachella, just a big slap in the face, big, heavy dose of reality. And this time it was just too powerful to ignore. I just had this moment of real grief when I was at Coachella, like, you missed your opportunity. And I don't want to think about it that way, and I don't think it's right for me to be a performer. That ship has sailed. I'm physically broken. I have chronic illness. I have a degenerative condition. I'm never going to be a performer. But I can still do something with music, and it's not too late to make a career change. I've pivoted several times in my career, and I know that I could do it again. So right now I'm kind of trying to figure out how to incorporate music into my life and acknowledge this real passion and drive while still having the things that are important to me, like financial stability, flexibility, and all that. So I took my first step, and I just started training at my local radio station to be a radio DJ, which is really exciting. It's a very small station. It's called KMUD, or KMUD as we call it here, and it's in Garberville, California, where I live. And I had my first training 2 days ago, which was cool, with a group of 9 other people. We shadow 3 people for a month, take a test, do basically a mock radio show, and then if we pass, they give us our own show on the air, which is crazy. And if you follow my playlist, Song of the Day on Spotify, you know that this is not that much of a reach. I just love curating playlists. I love when people come over and I can just pick all the songs and create the vibe. I'm excited about it. I'm also really, really nervous about it because it's like a live radio show, and people, like, it's the only radio station in town. Like, it is the only thing that you can turn to where we live because we're so remote. So like, if you have the radio on, you are listening to KMUD, and I'm just like really nervous about it. Since fear and anxiety was the reason why I never pursued a career in the arts, I am deciding to fuck that fear and just leave it outside because I'm sick of feeling not good enough. I'm sick of being afraid of pursuing my dreams. And I'm just gonna fuck it. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna go in there with an open mind. Whatever happens, happens. And that's how I'm approaching it now. And I just feel really fired up to do something with music. Who knows? Maybe I'll suck at it. Maybe I won't like it. I don't know, but I have to try. A couple other things I came up with. I'm gonna pick up guitar again. So I brought the guitar out, it's over there, and I always really struggled with having weak fingers, and I never had a teacher that could kind of explain to me what was going on. They just said, oh, you need to practice more. Turns out what's actually going on is I have EDS, which makes it really hard for me to use my hands and to grip things. So I'm trying to see if there's a teacher who has EDS and can teach me guitar. Not that they would live here, because nobody lives here, but I'm just trying to see if maybe someone online has EDS and plays guitar and can kind of help me out. So those are two ways that I can start feeling more creative, start feeling more connected to music, and, you know, start curating some skills. Other things I thought of, I was thinking like, okay, I could be a talent scout. I could work still in business development and sales at like a record label or, you know, Live Nation or something like that. But that would just still be the career that I have now, which is working for a company that is in an artistic field, but working an actual job that is not creative whatsoever. And that is what makes me unfulfilled. And I definitely want to keep my job. I have a very, very great setup at work. So just thinking about some side passions here and what I could do. And I found out that some of the women who work at this station actually are in a band. Some of them are DJs. And I just thought it was really cool. Like, I've lived here for a year and a half and I had no connection to this community. I had no idea where I could meet people, where I could find people who like music, because there's literally one bar in town. It's just so isolating to live here. So I'm excited that this radio show is just introducing me to people in the community. Especially cool to meet people who are so different from myself. I think that being exposed to people who are totally not like you is like one of the greatest gifts that you can have. I'm just really excited to finally step out of my shell a little bit and start being real about like what makes me happy in life. I thought YouTube was it. I wanted to start a YouTube channel pretty much when I started watching YouTube. When I was watching the OG beauty YouTubers like Michelle Phan. Do you remember Panacea? I forget her name, but oh God, I loved her. She was amazing. They really made me want to start a YouTube channel. And, you know, I remember talking to my dad. I talked to my ex-boyfriend about it, and my dad said, no, you should focus on auditioning. I think a YouTube channel would just distract you. My ex-boyfriend said, a YouTube channel is stupid. You're stupid, because he was a narcissist. It was another thing that I got feedback on that just took me off track. I let everybody's opinions affect me all the time. All I cared about was what people thought of me. Up until recently, really. Up until last year. And so when I took that leap in 2019 and I made my YouTube channel, I was like, this is it. This is everything I wanted to do since I was a teenager, and you know, this is gonna be my creative outlet and it's gonna be perfect, and I'm gonna have this beauty channel and that's gonna be everything that's ever fulfilled me and I've ever wanted. And the reality is that's just not the case. And when you're someone who struggles with being really sensitive to feedback and criticism because of a history of trauma, the internet is a terrible place to be. And, you know, I've just come to realize that like I should not be on social media, and I'm still going to be because I love making YouTube videos. But my point of the story is just to share, I thought that state of Kate was gonna be the thing that like fulfilled me for the rest of my life. You know, my relationship with beauty has just changed so much. In my daily life, I look like this. I just, you know, I have a little bit of makeup on, and that's just who I am 99% of the time. So it can feel really taxing to do the beauty stuff. And yet I get into this cycle where I just have to keep grinding and grinding. It's really weird how I can work so hard and just work myself to the bone on something that is not even really serving me at all. And yet I can't dedicate that same amount of energy and passion and work ethic towards creative hobbies because I just feel like so discouraged that I will never be as good as Phoebe Bridgers and Boy Genius. I'll never be as good as Ethel Cain. So why even start? Like, why even try, you know? And I know that that is absolutely not the right answer. But here's what I'm gonna do to get out of the loop of working so hard towards things that are not necessarily fulfilling my soul. First and foremost, obviously, taking the radio class, I brought my guitar out. Number 3, I'm going to journal for at least 10 minutes a day. And I think that a 10-minute goal is achievable. If I did like 30 minutes or an hour, I would just never do it. But if you set a goal for 10 minutes, you usually end up going over 10 minutes. So that's the new goal. And then number 4, John and I are just gonna have on the schedule separate nights when we are completely alone. You know, I was talking to John the other day, and like, one of the things I really miss about being single was just having so much time alone to just do what I wanted. And inevitably, every single night, what that ended up being was listening to music, watching interviews with artists, and watching concerts. I need to get in touch with the person that I am outside of a relationship, because everything that I do is always tied together with John. Everything that I watch, everything I listen to, we always just do the things that we love together. Ever since the pandemic, we have spent every single day together because we both work from home and we live in the middle of the woods. So we have no other community here. We have no friends and family. So it's not like, you know, one night John's gonna like go out with the boys and I'm gonna be alone and I can kind of fuck around with my stuff. It doesn't happen. We are together 24/7 and have been together 24/7 since the pandemic hit. So we were just realizing the other day, we need to build in alone time. When you are by yourself and you're really sitting in silence, you start thinking of things that you wouldn't think of. You know, you start behaving a little bit differently. You might watch something or listen to something that you wouldn't have put on if your partner was in the room because you know they might not be interested in it. I get in these like obsessive loops, and not necessarily in a bad way, in a good way. I will just, right now it's Boy Genius and all I want to do is consume content about Boy Genius, and all I want to do is like watch their interviews and watch all their concerts. And it's also Ethel Cain right now. So I need my alone time to just get in the positive loops, not the negative ones. Another revelation is that we really need to move. When the pandemic hit, we were in a pretty bad place in our relationship. We honestly just needed a couple years in the woods just with us and Thumper to heal and have privacy and be in nature and like work on ourselves, work in therapy. And it's just been the biggest healing tool is living here in the redwoods. We need to be around people who are like us. As much as I love living here and I love the people here, they're just not our people. We need to move somewhere where we can put some real roots down. This place in Garberville, or specifically where I live in Benbow, is just like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, and we'll never be able to afford a property like this wherever we buy. So we're also kind of grieving the loss of having all of this nature and having all of this property and privacy, because we know that this is probably the last time we'll be able to have this. But it's the right move. And so we've decided on Ojai, which is about an hour and a half outside of LA. It's a really beautiful area. It has a lot of agriculture. So it does give us a little bit of that farm, agriculture, nature life that we love. And there's a little bit of this country feeling there, a little bit of like an LA hippie community, but there's also a little bit of an upscale vibe to it as well. And you know, it's 45 minutes from Santa Barbara, so we could see concerts there, or we could drive an hour and a half to LA. So we could just, you know, we could have so much more access to concerts. Where we live right now, we are 3.5 hours from the nearest major concert venue. And we need to be closer to bars and restaurants and like meeting like-minded people. And so sadly, the chapter is closing of us living here in this beautiful home that we've come to love so much. But we're feeling very excited to shake things up. I want to blow my life up. I want to change so many aspects of everything that I'm doing right now. And so I'm having all of these reevaluations of what I'm doing, how I'm looking at content, how I'm looking at social media, how I'm going about my life, how I'm spending my time, where I want to live, how I want my relationship to be, and I just want to blow everything up, and it feels really good. So it's all good stuff. It's all positive things. And all of this came because I went to Coachella.
I want to say hi.
Meep meep. I'm filming.
Life vlog stuff.
Come here.
Hi, squirrel.
Squirrel.
What's up?
I was just talking about wanting to change a lot of stuff in life.
You do best when you are passionate and following your dreams, and I'm excited for this next chapter. That's all I got. Look at these colors.
Do you like the blue?
I really like them. Yeah, it's cool. It's a really cool color.
Right? Okay. Oh.
I'm tired.
I'm tired too.
Big smacker. Give me a big smacker. Come here. Bye.
Bye.
Put some Tosh on my eyelid though.
Well, we just accidentally took a nap, so I think that's a good place to end the video. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.